project title is Croppable, the crop protection app. These are our team members, Riddhi, Archita, Ananya and Shashwat, and me, myself, Disha. So I'm coming to the abstract. Why we've chosen this topic is because we've observed that 10% of the global produce that we get is affected by pathogens and it goes to waste. But the major problem that we face here is that farmers cannot tell just by looking at the crop whether it's infected or not. And that is the reason why the food security of a country is also put at risk. Also, these crops will develop resistance over time to pesticides and fungicides, so that's also one problem. So to overcome this problem, we have developed Croppable, which is a crop protection app, and we have used CNN to detect the diseases, and thus we have created a web application so that one can upload the images, and thus we can detect which disease it is, and we can also provide a treatment for the same. Coming to the literature review, we've already talked about this in the review 1. Coming to the workflow, we've divided our project into 2 steps. One, we will be detecting what the disease is, and second, we will be providing a treatment for the same. So this is the workflow. First, we take the data set, we'll train, test and validate it. Then we'll work on the CNN design. Then we will pre-process the image that we'll be taking from the user, and then we'll be putting it into the training model. Then we load it and we'll pre-process the image, and then the classification will be done. Coming to the architecture diagram, this is the flow of the architecture diagram. There'll be 2 parts. So in the first, we'll input an image and then we'll do its pre-processing. And at the backend side, we'll extract images from the database and train them and extract their features. And then we'll match both of them in the CNN model. And if no disease is detected, so the plant is normal and we'll declare it as healthy. And if a disease is detected, we'll declare it as abnormal and we'll give the treatment measures, and that will end the entire process. Coming to the datasets, we have used the tomato leaf dataset to build up our project, and it contains various categories of healthy as well as disease plants, like many diseases like tomato mosaic virus, spider mites, etc. And we have also used this tomato leaf disease detection using CNN dataset from CAP. Next part will be continued by Riddhi.
Moving on to the next part, so we have the tools used. So we have the several tools since it is a fully deployed model. The one that we really want to show is Figma. So I will show you Figma. So first we will write that it is very necessary that we, since it is HCI Human Interaction, we tell that it is a need that we fix on the design, we fix on the interaction as to how the user will be flexible with the model. So this is the basic layout, and what is Figma? Figma is basically an open source free UI tool. It focuses on collaboration with the teammates in a very flexible manner. So this is the basic layout. So first we created the design. Here is one frame, that is team picture. Then we have the sign up page, then we have the sign in page. Moving on, we have the landing page. So why is the landing page long? The main focus on the landing page should be long is that since it's a long page, when we'll actually be using it, we should be able to scroll through it. So I'll show why it has been made long in our design. So it will be helpful during prototyping, and then is disease prediction. So this is the basic layout, and why we have used Figma in specific for the UI tool. It is because since many of us were working, since 1 or 2 of us were working mainly on Figma, we realized that others should also be able to give their feedback in a timely manner. So Figma uses Slack as a communication basis. So at the same time, when we were making our designs, we were able to get feedback from our team members. So now I'll show the prototype. So since we have a loss of internet connection over here, once we click on the play button, it will switch to this tab. We have already loaded it. So this is the basic prototype. So this is how it will look on our computer. So this is a MacBook that we have used for the prototyping. And then when we click on when we have input the admin and password, this is the sign in page, sign up page, and then after this we can click on sign in. So once we click on sign in, it will show to the login page. So this is how you put in the username, password, and then you can click on sign in, and then it will move to the next our main landing home page. So it has all the various things that we'll actually be showing in the implementation as well, but this is the UI. So it has how it works, who we are, contact us, sign up and login, and all of this is working. If I click on it, it will jump to that page. So it has all the basic features of disease prediction. So as I was telling, why the design was long, so that I can scroll through it. So this is the basic idea of prototyping, that we are able to include all the features of HCI. Now main was disease prediction, so when we click on learn more, I'll be able to see the disease prediction. Now moving on PPT. Now Shashwat will take over to explain the methodology.
My team members have explained the basic interface which they have used, but the basic working of this whole model is like divided into various parts. So the first very simple step in any kind of model which we try to implement is like we study the data set, which data set we are going to choose. Currently we are using the leaf data set in which we got from Kaggle website, and we select different images of tomato leaves, and we use them to we then import it into the model, and then we use them to find the type of disease the plants are facing and stuff. Moving to the next part. The first part is data augmentation. So what data augmentation does is, now for example, we have an existing data. We need to make our model efficient so that even if it gets different kinds, it can learn on its own and predict the type of diseases the plants are going through. Second is train, test and validation of data. So basic part is, first of all, we train the model so that it becomes self-sufficient. For that we basically divided the data set into 3 parts. 2/3 part was used as a training set, and 1/3 of the part was used as a data set. And then we use for model validation, we use various kinds of models. Moving to the next part is the model implementation. So model implementation basically has 2 parts. First part is the recommendation system, and second part is the detection of the disease. The first thing what happens when we upload the image, it tells us which kind of disease the plant is facing right now. After that what happens, then it gives a recommendation that this is the disease the plant was facing, and this is the suggested treatment procedure for the same. So to implement that, we use this 2 deep learning models. First one is VG16 model, and the second is sequential model. We selected them because while we were referring to various research papers, we found that VG16 has an accuracy of about 97.53%. And the batch size it used was 32, and about 25 epochs were running in that. So the output it was giving was really efficient. That's why we selected this model. Moving to the next part was the recommendation system. So recommendation system, first of all, for recommendation we wanted to find the similarity between the data set. After we found the similarity, we can say that this is the, like example, the image, the disease, for example, tomato mosaic virus disease. Then we find the similarity with the data set, and we give the output like this disease, this is the suggested procedure or treatment procedure. And move to the next part is the plant detection system. So for this whole is basically based on convolutional neural network. Any CNN model has basic 3 parts. First is the convolutional layer, second is the activation layer, and the third one is the max pooling layer. Every layer has a different function. The max pooling layer removes the maximum parameter for accurate decision of the predictions. Similarly, the activation function, what does it makes the image which we are inputting non-linear, so that we can get more and more efficient output. So that was all about that's the 2 models which we have explained. I've given an idea. Next part we are going to
I'm so coming on to the demo part. So we have already loaded the website with the connect issues. So this is the homepage of our website. It contains 2 portals. One is sign up. So first you need to go and register yourself. And then we can log in with the same credentials. So we have logged into our website. Now this is the homepage of our website. So basically these are the features of our website. First of all, you need to go and make an account, and then using the same credentials you can log in. And then we have to upload an image so that we can predict the disease, and according to the disease our website will also get the treatment measures. We have also explained a brief about what actually our website does, and here we have added like the links of portals where people can contact us, and if there are any issues with the website, like it's not responding to something, they can send us an email. Now coming on to the main part, so
here you can choose a file. So like I select this one, and we can click on the predict. So it will predict the disease. Like I selected the image, so it will display the image. It will predict the disease which is there, and then it will give the treatment as well. Just like this, it is bacteria spot disease. So it is giving treatment about that copper fungicides are the most commonly recommended treatment for bacteria. So this is all about our website. Next, Ananya will explain.
So now summarizing whatever my teammates have explained and what our project is. So giving a brief about what it is about. So as everyone explained, it's a disease detection app. So we input the image and we get it as a result. We get the disease that it detects and we get a recommendation for the same. So Shashwat has already explained about the model that we've used, that is the VGG16 model, which had a highest accuracy when we were going through the research about the algorithm that is needed for this disease detection. So ma'am, now we try to fit our project into the brackets of what we've learned in HCI. So we try to align it according to the 10 heuristics model. So I'll be going through the 10 heuristics model points and explaining how our interface and how all these points and how our project is going to satisfy all these design points. So number one is the visibility of the system status. So it basically means that whenever a user is working on the system, they should know exactly how the system is operating. If the system is going through an error or there's a network issue or it's processing it, it's not processing it. So this is what system status means. It should show what stage the system is at and what stage of operation it's performing. Second, coming to match between the system and the real world. It's basically connecting a real time onto the system. So our project that we have described is not static. That means it's not going to show data that is already fed. It's going to interact with the user and show us real time information. Third is the user control and freedom. So while operating on a system software or web application, the user must be able to navigate around the website, as Archana already explained, how user friendly it is. Whatever options and whatever navigation tools and whatever buttons we have used is very self-explanatory in very simple language, so they can navigate back and forth on the website as and when they want. Next, coming to consistency and standards. This is something that's a very important aspect of UI, UX or interface design, because once the user interface is changed, it's difficult for someone to process it and recollect what the previous interface was and how to adapt to this one. So consistency and standard is really important in describing while designing a UX, because our app is going to be functional for farmers mainly. So for them to understand this and to navigate through the website should be very important and very seamless. Error prevention. Error prevention is also a very important aspect, because we are humans, and while navigating through something so technical, there might be chances of errors. There might be chances we can click some other button, or it might result into some, 404 error or any white label error. So there should be proper display of what error is it and how long is it going to take to cater to it. So let's say for our website, if we upload an image that is completely blank, so it will show an error that there's no image has been uploaded, please upload an image. The sixth point is recognition rather than recall. So once a user is using the web app, whenever they come onto the website, everything that they need to start the website and proceed should be available on their interface. They should not have to recall, okay, what did I have to, what did I do the last time and what should I be doing it right now. It should be all available on their screens. Seventh point is flexibility and efficiency of use. So flexibility and efficiency of use, which means that we do not have to, make redundant efforts to operate through the website. Maybe just with one click, just like our website is so seamless, you just have to click on the image, scan the image, it uploads the image and it shows the website. It's basically in 3 clicks you get the disease, you get the treatment, and you get how to treat and how to proceed with the disease detected. Aesthetic and minimalistic design. Our design is very easy to understand, easy to absorb, and very comfortable to the eye. So help users recognize, diagnose and recover from errors. As I mentioned, whenever there's a display of error, there should also be a solution to how you can get out of this error. So if, let's say it's an internet error, so it should show that, okay, this is being processed. Let's say if you have uploaded an image and it shows that the image is still being processed, so it mentions that, okay, this many minutes are needed to process it, please wait. So that keeps the user in loop and connected to the system. The 10th is help and documentation. So there might be at a step the user might feel helpless that they're not able to figure out through the website, or they're not able to navigate how to move forward. So there should be a documentation PDF that will be in handy to them, so that they can anytime go through that and see how step by step it functions. Now conclusion. So as I mentioned, our Croppable app basically harnesses the power of AI and machine learning, the models that they use and the models that they use and the algorithm that they have implemented. So now the project was, when we started with the project, we kept in mind that the outcomes of the course should also be fulfilled by a project. So we aligned the project according to the Norman heuristics that I already explained and the 8 golden rules. So now the future scope and discussion. So a few points that we, while going
I'll
through
go through in the